Welcome to this deep dive.
Hello.
Today we're grappling with one of those really big questions, the kind that sits right at the core of being human no matter how busy things get.
The why live question.
Exactly, why live? And we're going to explore some, fascinating insights on this.
Where are we drawing these from today?
It's based on a source that reviews Ichiro Kishimi's book, If Now Were the End of Life.
Kishimi. And this book, it digs into Marcus Aurelius, right? But the early writings.
That's it. The writings of a young Marcus Aurelius. So our mission really is to unpack what these sources offer.
Right. We want to pull out the wisdom on finding meaning, living in the present moment, which is harder than it sounds.
Definitely. And navigating life's challenges.
Yeah. And connecting that ancient wisdom, from a surprisingly young emperor-to-be to the stuff you might be dealing with right now.
Okay, so let's get into it. The source starts with a really powerful idea about time, attributed to Aurelius as a teenager.
It really reframes things, doesn't it?
It does.
The core concept they pull out is this. Think about living for, say, 3,000 years, or even 30,000.
Okay.
Young Aurelius apparently said something like, remember this, everyone lives the same life, the one you are living now.
Wow, okay. The one you are living now. That really forces you to focus, doesn't it?
It does. And the source explains why this is the case. You can't live a different life. You can't lose a life you aren't actually living in this instant.
So the past, it's gone. The future, not here yet.
Exactly. You can't lose them because right now, they don't exist for you to lose. You only possess the present.
And the source makes a point that this present moment, this fleeting now, it's given equally to everyone. Doesn't matter if you live 30 years or 30,000.
Mm-hmm. The actual experience of living happens only in this instant.
That's gone so fast.
In a flash. Which, brings us right back to that big question.
Why live?
Yeah. Despite how packed modern life is, the source says, look, this question still pops up for everyone, sooner or later.
Absolutely. And this book review we're looking at, it focuses on Kishimi compiling records of Aurelius at just 18.
18. Already emperor, living in a palace, dealing with huge questions. Life, death, relationships. Heavy stuff for anyone, let alone a teenager in that position.
Right. And the source notes how these writings maybe not perfectly organized like a philosophy text, but they just feel relevant today.
Yeah, the reviewer felt they offered real, motivation. Similar to Kishimi's other book, The Courage to Be Disliked.
So it's ancient thought that still speaks to modern worries.
It really seems to. It feels contemporary.
Okay, so if the now is all we truly have, how do these sources say we should, actually live in it? Because that's the tricky part.
Oh, definitely. It's hard, right? Modern life is practically designed to pull us away from the present. We're always planning or worrying or just drowning in information.
Tell me about it.
The source mentions, getting caught up scrolling through predictions of the future or just consuming tons of data that has zero connection to your actual life right now. It just causes confusion.
That constant mental noise. So what did Aurelius focus on instead, according to the source?
It was much more grounded. The work right in front of him, simple things actually, like the air he could breathe, the view he could see, the people around him he could actually connect with, his own core beliefs, focusing on the immediate, tangible reality.
That makes sense. Less scattered.
Yeah, the source says this focus is vital. It's about moving forward, but step by step, not trying to grasp everything all at once.
They used that analogy, didn't they? Like a farmer.
Exactly, like a farmer tending their land. You work the patch right in front of you, responding to what's needed now, according to nature's flow. You don't try and do the whole field in one go.
I like that. It feels manageable. And that leads to this idea of mindset, right? A mix of effort and acceptance.
Mm-hmm. The source describes it as, when success comes, maybe seeing it partly as heaven's will, not just your own doing.
Mm-hmm.
Keeps the ego in check, perhaps.
And the flip side, when things don't go well.
Crucially, not despairing. The source emphasizes just looking towards the next effort. It's a kind of resilience, isn't it? Dedication to the process, not just the result.
So keep putting in the work, accept what happens, move to the next task.
That seems to be the idea. And the source suggests this might have been the kind of steady, focused life young Aurelius actually wanted, even with all the pressures of his role.
That ties into another big point from the source, self-acceptance and hope.
Yeah, looking at yourself as you are, letting go of past stuff, but still keeping hope for the future.
This seems particularly relevant for, say, adults who maybe feel a bit lost sometimes. The source mentions people in their 30s or 40s still trying to figure out life's purpose.
Right. Feeling kind of like a kid inside, even though you're grown up. The source acknowledges that's a common feeling.
And often that feeling leads to perfectionism, trying too hard.
Absolutely. That drive to be perfect. And the source points out it often backfires, leads to self-reproach, despair, because, well, perfection isn't really achievable, is it?
No, so you beat yourself up.
Constantly. You tell yourself you should be perfect, you should have it all sorted, and when you don't, yeah, it's tough.
And here's where that specific quote comes in. The source highlights Aurelius saying, "Don't be ashamed to receive help."
That's powerful.
It really is. And the source connects this to freedom, interestingly.
How so?
By suggesting that letting go of that need to be perfect, that idea you have to do it all alone, it actually frees you up.
Ah, I see. It lets you look around, see other people.
Exactly. To live together, it shifts the focus from this impossible solo struggle.
So, asking for help. And giving help, too. It's framed not as weakness, but as building something better collectively.
Precisely. The source suggests is how we move towards a kind of societal perfection through mutual support, living imperfectly, but together. That's the path.
That feels very relevant today. So, wrapping this ancient wisdom back to modern life.
The source concludes by reflecting that reading these thoughts from a teenage Aurelius, it shows his struggles, yes, but also a real affection for life underneath it all.
Despite the difficulties he faced.
Yeah. And the key takeaway for you, the listener, is that his concerns, his deep worries navigating palace life, war, complexity, they feel very familiar.
Especially perhaps for young people today feeling lost in maybe materialism or just that flood of information we talked about.
Exactly. It shows these core human questions, the search for meaning. They don't really change, do they?
Not fundamentally, no.
Yeah.
These ancient reflections offer, well, not jargon, but grounded, practical insights.
They really remind us about the power in the present moment.
Yeah, and focusing on what's real right here, what aligns with your values.
And accepting imperfections in ourselves and maybe in situations.
And that strength we find in supporting each other. Giving and receiving help. It's all practical stuff for navigating life today.
It really is.
Yeah.
So, maybe something to think about after this.
Go on.
If living fully means embracing the present moment completely, like we've discussed, focus, acceptance, what does that really imply about how we handle planning or even worrying about the future? They seem necessary, but how do they fit with truly living now?
That's a good question to ponder. How do those things coexist? Definitely food for thought.